And we have all state governors or elect who have received their certificate of return as well. That happened in the course of the week. But then, let's still not forget the fact that there are people or persons who participated in the elections who are still aggrieved. And they are aggrieved because of certain infractions that happened, allegedly happened during the course of the election. Now, one of those who also caused a big stir, probably more particularly in Kano, talking about the NNPP and the presidential candidate of the party and the governorship candidate of the party who has emerged the governor-elect of Kano State. Even in the midst of all that happened in Kano, still emerged despite all of that. We're going to be looking at the conversation post-2023 election, analyzing the presidential outcome. We're going to be more specific, looking at the presidential outcome. We'll go on a break. We'll take this report from our colleague, Margaret Ogbo. She was at a press conference organized by the NNPP. We'll take that report and we'll be right back to get into the conversation. Stay with us.
Reactions continues to trail the just concluded 2023 election, with most aggrieved parties casting doubt on the credibility of the electoral process. The presidential candidate of the NNPP, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, decried the lack of credibility in the just concluded election, insisting that there was high level of vote buying and disenfranchisement by some political parties.
We are not happy with the way and manner our logo was presented on our ballot papers. Now we are going for elections in 3 or 4 states. Please, we don't want to be in a hurry to go to court on some of these issues, but I believe under normal circumstances, what INEC presented as our logo in a civilized society is good enough to cancel the national election because we were disenfranchised.
Some of the issues that happened in Taraba State that brought all these issues very clearly are: 1, that there were evidences of overvoting. 2, there were evidences that beavers were bypassed. Instead of us using the beavers to make sure that we get the results as scientifically as possible, this did not happen.
Senator Kwankwaso believes the challenges that marred the polls are enough reasons to cancel the election.
We saw what happened in some states, especially Kogi State, where security agents were being seen running around, picking boxes, shooting in the air, doing all sorts of things. And many other states, even in Imo, we pray that the judiciary should be a better place for all of us, because now we have number 4 being the governor of the state.
Leaders have also been urged to come out and speak on how to address the issues in the country for the betterment of all. Margaret Ogbo, Silverbird News 24, Abuja.
My guest this morning to look at this topic, post-2023 election, analyzing the presidential outcome, is Folashade Aliu. She's a National Campaign Secretary, New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. Thank you so much for coming on the program once again.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's nice to see you again.
after going to the trenches,
well,
we're back here right now.
That's what it takes, and we thank God we went through it. Thank you.
So I'm going to ask you this. Shortly after the presidential election, a popular rights activist, who of course has turned a politician as well, Aisha Yesefu, she suggested that going forward on the ballot papers, we should look at the possibility of having the pictures of the candidates reflected alongside the logos of the ballot papers. I know that was one of the major things your principal complained about, the issue of the logo. What do you think about that? Do you think that should be something INEC should be looking at?
Well, once again, thank you for having me. We thank God that we have the opportunity to now do the post analysis of the elections. Like in any election, any parts of the world, there is always room for improvement. And if you consider the period of time that the, INEC, according to them, that it's required for them to prepare the ballots, the ballot papers, and you look at the issue of substitutions and, guidelines and some other variables, I think that it may be a good idea that they have the pictures there, but what if at the last minute something happened? And you can imagine the number, the millions of ballot papers. And for me, the purpose of putting the party logo there, in our own case, our party logo was misrepresented. In some places, it has NNPP at the bottom. In some places, it doesn't have NNPP at the bottom. In some places, it looks like they copied, they use recycled paper. In some places, it comes out right. So you wonder how that will ever be. So coming to the issue of the picture of the candidate and the logo, it may help, so that if the logo is not clear, at least you can identify the picture of the person. But I know there's some issues that will come around that. And then the other issue that we looked at is that, look, whatever, because the question is, do we have members of our executives verify the logo? Because there's a presentation session, before the ballots are printed, where all the parties are invited to come and look and approve their logo. And what was shown to our secretary and I believe the chairman or whoever, at least 2 members of the party, was not exactly what we saw on the ballot paper. We all voted, and we saw that we struggle. For somebody like me, of course, I know the party logo. I have to look through it alphabetically. But can you imagine the person, my whole auntie in the village, he knows there's NNPP. If she sees what resembles what she recognizes, but when she doesn't recognize it, the next thing she will say is that it's not there. So we had a lot of calls. A lot of people were panicked that we're not on the ballots. It's nothing but the fact that the logo was not properly presented.
But don't you think this also may have created another problem? Your principal is known to be, by a large number of people, probably outside of Kano, where it appears to be his stronghold. He's known to have been a member of the People's Democratic Party.
That's correct.
So don't you think people usually would have encountered that sort of problem as well? Maybe going to, yes, they may have thought, okay, I want to vote for a Rabi Musa Kwankwaso.
Yes.
But by the time they go to the polling unit, they discover that, okay, maybe in their minds they think that Rabi Kwankwaso is a part of the PDP, so I will vote for that party instead. Don't you think that also is a factor that comes into play whenever electorates go to vote, and then we have all of these issues at the end of the day?
Well, actually, that was one of our considerations, especially in the outskirts of the urban centers. Because some people have known him for so long, and they have identified him with other parties, and they still think. And we recognized that earlier on in the campaign, and we worked on correcting that. So yes, that's another factor, but it's not a major factor in this election to the extent that the feedback, the votes, the number of votes, we know a lot of variables happened in the field, but that is not significant enough as much as the logo issue. Our logo issue was a serious issue for us. But, if you look at the pattern of distinguished Senator Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, well, he has accepted, he understands that there's no perfection anywhere. It's regrettable what happened. But if you look at his pattern of leadership and management of people and party, just like in 2019 in Kano, look, well, this is a situation at hand that needs our attention. It needs for us to have a critical review. And post-election, we are doing our post-election review across the board, looking at our campaigns, looking at our members, looking at the voters, looking at INEC issues and so on and so forth, because that's the only way we can advance and prepare for the next election. So if you compare it to what happened in 2019, after it was obvious that our candidate won then, and, well, the powers that are there, because there's no power that is beyond God's power, decided to do one way or the other. Look at, he told everybody, just let's calm down and let us, take care of our business and let's prepare for the next election.
Okay. So here's another question, particularly when it comes, because I'm taking some of these issues from the claims of your principal.
Yes.
But then, Another concern that most times you discover when you have a conversation with INEC, one of the things they express is that when it comes to voter education, the political parties don't do enough of that. Could that be also one of the problems you encounter? Because yes, I understand your complaint is genuine, is a germane concern, but then could it also be that the poor voter education could have been a problem as well? Well, I don't know how extensive your voter education campaign was, but could that also be a problem?
See, for us, I still do not think that that is a significant enough problem. You remember the last time I came here?
Yeah.
I told you we went through 400 and something. By the time we finished a campaign, we've gone to almost 550 local governments out of the 774. There was no candidate that can come out and beat his chest to say that he has done that. And when I say that, of course, it's not only our principal, the presidential candidate, that does all of the trip, but he did most, I can say 90% of the trip by road. So what I'm saying, in other words, is that one of the reasons why we chose to do that is that we can talk to the people and educate the people. You know, voters' education is continuous, and you can do it in various ways. And it's never going to be enough, because there's no way that you can meet every single individuals in this country. But the thing is that you come up with a strategy that allows your words and your messages to go as far as you want it to be, and to be protected and be guided as well. So when you I look at so many factors. Even if you look at the ungodly alliances and mergers and social media coming up with some fake news, it's so confusing. You know, all kind of court papers, real court papers, fake court papers. You want to say that's part of politics, but we cannot continue to play politics of blackmail. If we continue to do that, we're not going to get any result. But in our position is that, look, elections can be better managed.
Okay.
It takes INEC, it takes the will of the government, the existing government, in this case, President Muhammadu Buhari. It takes the goodwill of the people themselves, for them to get good election and good election results. So, and all of these things, of course, it takes the security. When I say the people, it's all of us.
Yeah.
They are Nigerians first. Now, the point is that when you have security people looking the other way, it has when you have people ready to get 1,000 naira or 500 naira for the value of their votes for the next 4 years, what do? When you have people who are not even willing to stand and support and stand by their votes, when you have agents manipulating things and people buying agents, party agents, and all sorts of things. Look, yes, it's politics, yes, it's competition, yes, everybody wants to go out there and win, but there are some rules and regulations. And if the people that put the rule and regulations together are not, which is the legislature for the most part, even if they are not going to follow the rules and that they put in place, or the legislations that they put in place, it's most unfortunate. All
right, so let's look at another critical issue that was raised generally during the election.
Yes.
Where people felt INEC was compromised.
Yes.
I'm saying this based on what the feedback from most of the political actors. INEC had a problem uploading the results to IREV. Was that also an issue for your political party, for your party?
Well, for me, as an IT professional, I want to say that what INEC did, considering the fact that there are so many hits to hack the server, in order for them to protect all of us, certain things has to happen. One of such things is to either take the server offline for a minute or do some monitoring.
So you feel there are people who are trying to hack the server?
Even before the election, we are hearing all kinds of information. We're hearing all kind of intelligence. We're hearing all kind of, even on social media. You understand what I'm saying? So the point is that INEC at that point, see, INEC as, even as an independent entity, they have some responsibilities towards all of us.
Okay.
In order for them to protect each and every vote that comes through their system. So if for whatever reason they suspected, multiple attempts to hack that server, they have a responsibility to do something about it. But unfortunately for us is that the people that are supposed to understand how this thing works, they are the same people that are going out running from one polling booth and one polling unit and one police station to the other to say that INEC is not doing the right thing. And some of these things, you see that it's kind of...
It's interesting your position, because you are the first, I think you're the first amongst many to even speak,
yes,
for lack of a better word, in favor of INEC as regards the issue of the IREV and uploading the results.
Yeah, but I'm saying that on the basis of the fact that if the fact that they're putting out for us is real, is true, which I know to some extent,
yeah,
that some of them are true. I can't say all of the things but we've seen on social media, we've seen people boasted the fact that they are going to reach out and do something to the server. Whether they do it or not, we know that there are several attempts to hack the server. So if that is the case, what INEC decided, the decision to bring that server offline for a few, whatever time, there are so many variables that determines how long you want to bring it down and what you want to bring back up. But my thing is that before we get to the elections, considering the resources and the people that and the assurance that INEC has given all of us, we believed in believed in the beavers, and we believed in the concept of uploading. But you also have to understand that Nigeria does not, we have the same time zone. We don't have staggered time zone in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So that is to say that, assuming that most places finished by 2:30 or 3:30 or 4 o'clock or whatever it is, let's even say 5 o'clock, and everybody is attempting to upload at the same time from 176,000 and some, plus polling units. It is just natural to know that you cannot do that simultaneously. I'm not trying to back up what INEC is saying or not defend INEC. I'm looking at the fact. And I'm saying that they have a responsibility to protect all of every single vote in this country matters.
Okay.
And it should be protected.
All right, so let's look at the conduct of politicians.
Yes.
Now, I understand the grievance of politicians accusing INEC and what have you. But it's so funny that for politicians most of the time, politicians hardly point their accusing fingers at themselves. They are quick to always, accuse INEC or probably even the government in power and all of that. This has been a steady pattern and all of that. But let's look at the conduct of politicians, who you are one of among. Would you say your conduct was commendable all through the process?
Well, I want to look at the word politician as a block. And I want to look at us Nigerians as a people. When you have a country that a parent can go and buy result in higher institutions, even in elementary school for children. Yeah. I'm talking about morals and ethics in anything we do. And when you see certain things that happen in this country, whether in our private sector, in our public sector, now it comes to the political arena. The way some people, all they know is this politics, how to play politics of violence, politics of money. And when they don't get their way, they think the only way to go about it is just to scatter everything. And that should not be. We should improve from every aspect of our elections and electioneering campaign. We cannot continue, we are not showing good example to the people, to the kids coming, or the young adults, or the leaders coming behind us if we continue to do that. It's unfortunate that it happens. I cannot tell you and sit down here and tell you it doesn't happen. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, sometimes you also have to look at the leadership of the group that are doing that, or the parties that are doing that. When you instruct your field soldiers that they must come back, that they must suppress people's vote, that they must do whatever it takes. When you instruct your field soldiers like that, they don't hear anything beyond what you have, instructed them to do.
Okay.
And that does not make it right. But for us, we believe that, look at Kano, for instance. People believed, or people were expecting, oh, Kano is going to be on fire, this and this and then. No. You know, Senator Rabi Musa Kwankwaso always said that, look, let us put in our best. Let us do the best that we know. Let us talk to the people. Let the people understand you. Let the people believe that when you get, you will take care of them.
Okay.
Let them understand where you are going. Let them understand your style of leadership. And let them understand the vision that you have for them and for the country. And you find that when you talk to your followers and you give them hope and you reassure them that everything is going to be okay, and you tell them, pray about it, work smart, work hard, and pray. And things will come the way God wants it to come.
Right.
But you must put in your best.
Okay.
So you see the two different style of leadership. So everything boils down to leadership as far as I'm concerned.
All right. So quickly, before we round up, this is my last question.
Yes.
For 45 seconds, what should people expect from NNPP going forward? Are we looking at a political party that will continue along this line, or are we looking at a political party and offer formidable opposition, or are we looking at a political party that will fade away with time? What is the future for your party?
Well, our future is very, very extremely bright. We are here to stay. We are here to participate in the electioneering, in governance. We are here to bring our people to the limelight. We are here to bring governance to the grassroots. We are here because I tell people, even myself, I started as an advocate, and I believe that I have to be part of the decision makers if I want to make a difference. We are all going to participate at different levels. We are waxing stronger by the day. Even after the election, people have commended, commended us seriously about the fact that we're very calm, that we're mature politicians, that we are very strong in the areas, that we are preaching out, that we're doing what we're preaching, which is let us remain calm, let us remain focused. We are saying to people, Nigeria is bigger than any of us, but we have to work together to make this country greater than what it is.
Right.
And we have to get a Nigeria that we deserve, that we want, and we all have to work towards it. And we believe that it's going to happen. So we're here to stay. We are getting ready for the next election. Some of our places, like Taraba, for instance, we're still looking at some of what happened there. In some other states, for the National Assembly candidate, we're still looking at the issues at hand. So there's no closure to that yet.
Okay.
But at the same time, we have work to do in Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi. That's the governorship elections are coming on. So it's a continuous process, and we're here to stay, and we're working stronger, and we thank God for what he has done for us.
All right.
And we're going places.
Okay. That would be a good way to end the conversation.
Thank you very much.
Folashade Aliu, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having
She's the
me.
National Campaign Secretary, New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. And of course, we've been talking about post-23 elections, analyzing the presidential outcome. Thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you. And I just want to say to all Nigerians, let us be calm. Let us find a way to work together to move this country. We have a lot at stake, and God will help us. We
Amen
don't
to
need to
that.
be on fire. We just need to work smarter and work harder, and all will be well for us as a country.
All right, thank you so much, and I'll say a big amen to that. All right, so obviously from her statement, it's obvious she's against any talk about an interim government, as Nigerians should be, as a matter of fact. So from my end here, I'd like to thank you so much for being a part of the program today. It's been an amazing time spending here with you. I'll be back, or rather, Grace Ike and Atinuke Noketukura will be on the saddle next week to take charge of the program. Until then, stay blessed and have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye for now.